All right, here goes everything. You know what I really hate about this asshole's video is that it actually takes like a pretty cool visual concept, and because of the dog shit text, the script, the actual words being said in the video is completely overridden. Like, like no one can actually appreciate what he did here, which is actually quite creative. He's got all these like Lego figures, and he's using them to represent different political systems, right? Like the Lego figures are doing different things based upon what he's describing, the individual scenario, right? It is a shame, because like I'm not sure if like this is animated or if he actually has like a bunch of Lego figures. He just puts like these Lego people out and he just puts them in different positions. Like that looks like it took him a lot of effort to make a horrible video. It's just insane how much effort people put into things that are terrible. Oh man, so many bad movies like that too, just like not billions, but like hundreds of fucking millions of dollars wasted. Just a piece of shit. Just anyway, so let's just get on with this bullshit. Let's get it over and done with.
Go on and on because under capitalism, the wealthy elite interact with our criminal justice system much differently than we do. To be clear, the police exist to protect capitalists at the expense.
I mean, that's not why they were invented. There were police forces thousands of years before capitalism even existed. Capitalism has only existed for about, 2,500 years, but states have existed for like 5,000. There was always a form of centralized law enforcement. You think ancient Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt did not have police? Of course they did. I mean, the slaves could just run away. If they didn't, who's gonna prevent them? Who's gonna force them to build the fucking pyramids? I know a lot of the time it was voluntary work, but you missed my point. Obviously, there were slaves. I mean that was capitalism. Yes, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying it was before the means of production were privatized, and even like these systems, the police, the law enforcers, they still existed outside of economic reasons. They still existed to enforce laws that the kings had established and wanting to see, it be actualized, their desires for other people to follow their laws that they set. It's not all about, forcing people to work against their will. So maybe you can address why people, like almost everyone, believes in the cops. Actually, almost anyone who calls themselves an anarchist as well. Like, they actually support the idea of a centralized means of law enforcement, having a group of specialists take care of the law, as opposed to just a few individuals here and there. But as we're going to get into this video later, this applies to non-compete American Johnson as well. And the fact that he doesn't even believe in the thing he claims to believe in. So, as I said, most people, almost everyone really, who identifies as an anarchist, whoever the fuck they think that means, do in fact support centralized law enforcement, aka the police. And we'll get into that in a moment.
Of the working poor. In short, capitalist democracy-style police forces are a terrible model for security and defense. So how do we ensure safety?
Oh, terrible model, right? Being able to quickly call someone when there's like fucking violence and full-blown sexual assault occurring, yeah. Being able to quickly get a bunch of armed specialists who are never ever defeated, who will be able to kill anyone, any group, any gang, any population, in the form of self-defense immediately. Yeah, that's terrible at taking care of the law. But, a society where we all fend for ourselves, so there's like 10 fucking people who are part of like some gang, and they knock on your door, your house, and they all break in and they kill your entire family. Then they go next door and they kill the neighbor's family. And then they literally go to every fucking gas station and they just shoot up motherfuckers and kill people. And there's like nothing to stop them. Yeah. Apparently that's a better society, the one you want, huh? I guess this is like the pre-prison El Salvador that you're a big fan of, where there's just fucking lawlessness and there's absolutely no one around to stop people from doing immense amounts of crime, violence, and causing immense amounts of mayhem with absolutely no consequences to their actions whatsoever. I guess that's ideal. But anyway, go on.
Safety and security for our communities. In my mind, community safety and well-being come down to these factors: harm prevention, emergency response, forensics, and rehabilitation, not revenge. Harm prevention. The best case scenario is for harmful activity to be prevented before it happens. The best way to make sure petty crimes never occur is to build strong communities that meet the needs of every individual.
Or, like, maybe have consequences for your actions. It's kind of like if the government you lived under said uploading the video that you uploaded will give you the death penalty. They'll just go like full fucking Kratos on you, dude. Just fucking hitting you in the face with some gauntlets until your fucking head explodes. If that were the punishment, I do not think you would have uploaded this dog shit, piece of shit, goddamn awful video.
Individual member of society. This includes not just material needs, but social, emotional, and psychological needs as well. Rather than having armed police roaming the streets with guns looking for people to punish, anarchist societies would deploy highly trained and compassionate social workers.
Dude, one sec. Dude, you are talking about social workers in a group of 150 people. There is not one social worker for 150 people in every society in the world. Let alone two, which is what he's about to say.
Specialists would get to know everyone in their community, address their needs, and see that those needs are met. They would be trained in counseling, sociology, and peer mediation to best ensure the safety of their communities. Since a ward size would be limited to about 150 people, a couple of social workers would truly be able to
see a couple. That means there has to be one social worker every 75 people. So one social worker is taking care of 74 people. Even the worst therapists in the world, like horrible therapists, won't take on more than 20 clients at a time. And they're pieces of shit for taking on 20 clients. You can't care about the individual needs of 20 people when it comes to merely mental health. How the absolute fuck is one person going to socially manage 74 strangers? And yes, you might be living in close proximity, but you're strangers. Just like my neighbors are strangers. I don't know them, okay? I never even met them. Just because we live close doesn't mean we even know each other. Or that we've even seen each other. Like, you think that one social worker is somehow responsible for 74... You can't attend 74 people at a time. Not even in a year. Not even if you're working 8 hours a day. Do you know how much... you can't be invested in even 10 people at a time, let alone 74. This is not being replicated throughout history. It is not possible. It is not feasible, manageable. It's a horrible idea. And mind you, therapists won't even take on a fraction of this number, even terrible ones. These social workers you're describing, one social worker would need to manage the social, financial, psychological, and legal affairs of all 74 people simultaneously. Absolutely bad shit, insane. Like, the fact that people watch this video and they're not like, this dude's a fucking idiot. Holy shit, what the fuck? Like, even for anarchism standards, this is astronomically low. My God.
To know every member of their community on a personal level, and in seeing to their needs, they'd be able to prevent most problems before they start. Emergency response. Since all crimes would be tremendously reduced in such an anarchist
Oh my fucking Jesus. Oh, this dude's such an idiot. My God. No, dude. Crime would not only be encouraged under your system, but it'd be effectively illegal. Everything would be legal. Even the most depraved acts, even full-blown rape. Even rape would be legal under your lack of a system. Not even a system. Not a system at all. Again, you do believe in police. Absolutely. You do believe in centralized law enforcement. Absolutely. But you'll pretend you don't. I'm saying if you didn't actually believe in police, then yeah, your system would lead to so much like hundreds of times what currently exists. Like horrifying. Like holy shit. Now, of course, hunter-gatherer societies are, and always have been historically, right, presently as well, notoriously peaceful, right? Those are, by definition, anarchist societies. They have no rulers, right? There's no authority, no hierarchy, you know. But they live a very simple life, dude. There's not really many examples in which crime could even occur. What does a hunter-gatherer have to... Why would a hunter-gatherer murder someone? Right? They live such normal lives. They just live in their pack and their tribe, and they just hunt and they gather. It's even in the name, hunter-gatherer. That's all your life really consists of, you know? Like, you know, that's why there's just barely any crime in these societies, you know? So it's obviously punishment isn't that big of a deal, you know? And sure, exile does work in that scenario, unlike in, you know, actual modern societies, because you're only just being exiled from a group of people. They're just no longer associating with you. That's fine. It works for hunter-gatherers. Even death or mutilation as, you know, a means of self-defense, sure. They're hunter-gatherers. They don't have any other options. All those two options, death, like killing someone, or mutilation, are not preferable, you know, to prison time. They're obviously not, they're pretty extreme. They're not preferable. They're pretty barbaric. They're, well, you know, primitive, right? Literally. That's the best they can do, and I get it. Because they don't want to break their social order. They don't want to break their lifestyle. They don't want to have to build prisons. They can't build prisons. They're hunter-gatherers. If they were to live you know, embrace the agrarian lifestyle, they could, but they like their lifestyle as it is, and, you know, it's fine. It's whatever. I don't have a problem with that. You know, take the good with the bad. If they enjoy it, overall, that's good. But we don't live in that society, which is really not a society at all. We don't live in a goddamn a houseless tribe, dude, a roofless tribe. That's not the society we live in, dude. And this dude's just a fucking pussy. He just won't say what he believes.
Society, it follows that violent crime would be similarly reduced. Check out these startling results from an FBI study on the causes of violence in the USA. Income inequality alone explains 74% of the variance in murder rates and half of the aggravated assaults. However, social capital had an even stronger association and by itself accounted for 82% of homicides and 61% of assaults. These may be cyclical, as the strain theory suggests that when poorer people perceive inequality, they internalize fewer social norms and come to view crime as more acceptable. A robust and well-organized network of social workers would reduce this. But even as society becomes more fair and equal and moves away from these hierarchies and inequities which promote such violence, there will still be resonating social effects from millennia of oppression and exploitation
Millennia of oppression. Oh my gosh. Or, you know, maybe people just like to kill people. I don't know. Maybe it's not that deep. Maybe it's not because they've been oppressed for. I mean, they can't even be oppressed for millennia. What if someone's born into this so-called anarchist, and that's anarchist with massive quotation marks, anarchist society? Tell me that like they'll never develop any urge to ever kill anyone. Absolutely fucking bad shit, insane, dude.
Take a long time to heal, and there will likely be circumstances which result in violence. As such, every commune will need to be prepared to dispatch a response team to deal with sudden, unpredictable...
Yep, there you go. So that's the police, a response team. So a group of people you call, a group of specialists who are specifically trained and designed to fight crime and to enforce laws. Because you don't have laws, then how are they supposed to be called to do what? Either the thing that's happening, which they're responding to, is illegal or not. Because if what they're responding to is legal, then they have no right to intervene. If it's illegal, against the law, you know, laws set by a government, because this is a governed society, it's a hierarchical society, it's a society with rulers, they respond to that crime. This is literally exactly a police force, not even slightly different. I guess they're just not called the police. I guess they're the same thing, but they're just not called it. God, I mean, I guess if I don't call murder, I guess it should be legal then. Shit, dude. Fuck. I guess I don't even need the purge now, huh?
Violence. These needs would be met by our voluntary civil defense force, aka
voluntary civil. Oh my god. See, this was the thing, like, oh. I think it was Poe's Law, whatever it's called. It's like, you can't tell the difference between a parody of a terrible belief or ideology versus the actual thing unless it's explicitly stated, right? Like, I know for a fact this is not a parody. There's no irony in what this dude is saying. This dude is being 100% unironic right now. Voluntary civil defense. Fucking. God, this guy's such a faggot.
The military. We'll explore the military more in just a bit, but for now, suffice to say that...
The military. You know what? You can even be against a military and not even be an anarchist. Like, I'm not an anarchist. Well, no one is, but you know. But I don't even claim to be... Well, no one really claims to be against rulers. I don't even apply the term anarchism to myself. I'm a panarchist, baby. But, like, even I am against the existence of a military. Which is, of course, the benefit of panarchism. Because in panarchy, global panarchy especially, there's no imperialism, so there's no need for a defense force. Obviously, the police will exist, but a military? To do what? Commit imperialism? You can't under panarchy. To defend yourself against imperialism? There's no imperialism. There's no way for it to even form. So, yep. But even outside of panarchy, unless one is literally defending themselves against imperialism, there's no need for military. And even then, I wouldn't say a military, not to say that just changing the word does anything. It's not about the word. It's just that society would thus reply with the normal amount of force, whether it's the civilians or the cops. Or a military implies you're already prepared to go to war. And countries without militaries don't just suddenly get invaded. It's not something that happens. So military is just such a waste of money. It's just theft from taxpayers, dude. And even in a communist society, no currency, it's just unnecessary work that no one wants to do. No one wants to be in the military. That's just fucking stupid. It's just lopping. Pseudo-masculine lopping. It's just bullshit, dude.
And our commune's military detachment would be equipped...
We do not need a military.
...and trained to work efficiently and humanely with strict protocols to prevent the escalation of force and brutality. Forensics. Criminal forensics is a highly technical field of science. Collecting and analyzing DNA evidence requires a great deal of technical proficiency, and so communes would want to contract with teams of forensic investigators who could find perpetrators of heinous crimes like murder and sexual assault. This would be a professional specialization.
Yeah, so police and detectives, so yeah.
And similar to the fire department or medical fields, as we discussed in part 2 of this series.
And, you know, identical, not similar, identical to what we call today the police.
Rehabilitation, not revenge. According to the Sentencing Project, 2.2 million Americans are in prison or jail. More than half of federal prisoners were incarcerated for drug crimes in 2010, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, and that number has only just dipped below 50% in 2011. Aside from abolishing the police, prisons will also be...
Aside from abolishing the... So we've established he doesn't want to abolish the police, despite the fact that he just wants to change the terminology. But we're also going to see if he even wants to abolish prisons. Is this guy against any particular ruler, right? Because here's the thing, everyone is against some rulers. No shit. If you're the most right-wing person on the face of the fucking earth, whoever the hell that even is, then you would obviously be against a left-wing government, a progressive government, ruling over you. You'd be against the rulers that are the politicians and the police who enforce progressive laws and the lawmakers, the judges, the jury. These people, everyone is against some rulers depending on the circumstances or against some rulers altogether. But no one on this fucking earth is against all rulers. Unless you mean like hunter-gatherers. But even they don't preach the ideology. They just live it. You know, imagine we lived in a goddamn utopia. Vegans wouldn't go on about how meat is bad or whatever. They just shut the fuck up. They never talk about it. They just don't eat meat. That's it. Never fucking pester someone else. Never harass anyone because they dare to enjoy God's grace gift.
abolished in an anarcho-communist society. In the words of Pyotr Kropotkin, prisons are little more than universities of crime, which make criminals even more capable of committing violence whenever they are finally released. In our capitalist society, crime is treated with vengeance and punishment. This toxic...
Of course, because, you know, vengeance and punishment wasn't treated in any pre-capitalist society. No, you know, agrarian socialist societies ever had, you know, prisons or punishment or, you know, something to deter crime. Of course, just a recent invention. My fucking lord.
Stance makes society worse at the individual and community level. Rather than treat crime as a personal moral failure that must be met with traumatic retribution, crime...
I disagree. This video is a traumatic moral failure on every possible level, and the issue is that it's not illegal. Like, this video is a fucking felony. It is a crime. I feel like my consent is violated just by watching this. Yes, I clicked on the video. Yes, I can click off at any time. But you know what? It keeps surprising me. Like, I expected it to be bad, but I didn't consent to it to be this bad. So you know what? I think this dude belongs behind bars.
Crime in an anarchist society would be seen as treatable, a social problem that would be corrected with rehabilitative measures that are tailored to each individual's circumstances. Rather than having barbarous prisons where people are caged like animals or tortured in solitary confinement, most crimes would be addressed through counseling, education, and other...
And what if these people just refused to attend counseling? What if they just didn't go? By the way, you just said yourself that there would be one social worker for every 74 people in the world. And don't say not in the world, just my commune, because the whole point is that you want the whole world to look like this. That's what a political system is. No, I don't want the whole world to have one political system, because I'm a panarchist, right? I believe in variety, in polyamory, you know? But I do absolutely believe that, you know, some systems should just never exist. Maybe temporarily be allowed to exist so we can have good systems as well, right? That's the trade-off of panarchy, but eventually the world's going to have to look kind of similar, at least to a degree, right? You know, like, holy heck, some things are going to be phased out. So, one social worker per 74 people, dude. And in addition, these people are going to have to be taking rehabilitative measures. So they're going to have be counseling every criminal ever. So what do they have to take care of, like, the 74 people plus all the criminals in every community that they just have to take care of? They just take care of all these criminals. They can't do that. Like, these people are out of prison, right? There's no prison, apparently, supposedly, allegedly, you know, and your lack of a system. So, like, who's to say these people aren't still committing these crimes? Let loose. Just showing up to therapy to pretend they're getting better so no one suspects anything. And they go out and they just kill people. Or rob old ladies, you know, something like that. Like, dude, what are you doing?
Such communal interventions designed to heal the individual and the community. If an individual's...
And the worst part is we already have this in every society that exists. Except maybe North Korea. And even then, maybe. I don't really know about the situation there. Like, people can attend therapy. They can attend rehabilitation. Yes, it's almost never free. But what about rich people? What, you tell me they don't do horrific things? You of all people believe they do, right? Of course. They don't attend these things, and even if they do, it doesn't change. They still commit felonies. They still commit offenses, crimes. Like, dude, what are you talking about? If this stuff worked, it already would work. At least on the rich, but that's not even true, especially not according to you, dude. So what are you doing? Like, how are you actually going to deter crime?
Behavior stems not just from social problems, but from some biological or neurological condition, then they would be committed to a special...
There is no biological or neurological condition, though. There is no neurology, no science behind bad behavior. It's entirely socially constructed. It's 100% environment. But that doesn't mean that people still won't commit crime no matter what, because they're not convinced otherwise. They're not persuaded otherwise. They need an incentive not to commit the crime. They need to be de-incentivized. You know, it's like someone who believes they're right, they're in the right, they are morally right, will always do that thing if they can get away with it. Or even if they believe they're morally wrong, but they just don't care, right? You know, everyone's going to care. It's not a matter of biology. There's no biology behind it. It's just ideology. Like, I don't believe that, you know, Emmanuel Johnson, the guy you're seeing on screen right now, this dude, this douchebag, is naturally unintelligent. or is so like bad shit, asylum level insane, that he's fucked up neurology, his brain led him to produce a video this catastrophically horrific. This is just the result of being in an echo chamber. I hate that word, but I just can't think of another one right now. You know, I know it's a buzzword, I know, but being in like some environment where everyone else is just circle jerking, jacking each other off, spraying their cum on each other's mouths, so they're swallowing. Like, you're in a circle jerk where everyone is sharing the same dog shit opinion, and you have no alternatives. You will not make a video talking about, all right, there are all these rulers, right? Rules in our society, in every society. Here's why every single one of these rulers are wrong. And here is the alternative. Not the same thing, not rulers that are going to replace them, but just how society would be better without them and what would take the place, right? You know, if there's no police, then what? If there's no prisons, then what? What's the alternative that doesn't involve rulers? Authority, right? But you will never make that video because you're dishonest and you believe in all this shit. Like, even the rulers that don't need to exist, like military commanders, like, there's no need for a military to exist. That's like the most oppressive thing ever. Like, most leftists, or at least most leftists I've seen, do not even believe in the necessity of a military. Anyone who's not like goddamn George Bush, you know, believes in the military. Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. Like, is this dude like John McCain? Like, what the fuck?
Circumstances Hospital, which would cater specifically to those needs. Doctors, therapists, counselors, social workers, and their family and friends and other visitors would be able to work with them to try and help them reach a breakthrough. And please note, I'm not being ableist here. I know that
there is no disability that makes a person rape cows.
Not all mentally ill people engage in harmful behavior.
Well, I'm certainly seeing a mentally unwell person engage in it right now.
And I know that not all quote-unquote criminals are mentally ill. But the fact is that it's been estimated that more than half of all prison and jail inmates have some form of mental health problem. To ignore this fact and simply imprison people whose medical needs harm themselves or others is truly criminal negligence. In an anarchist society, the number of people who make it to adulthood and commit violent acts based on undiagnosed or untreated mental illness will be substantially lower. It's a sad fact that some
citation needed.
Violent or predatory individuals may never be capable of entering back into society.
Like yourself, I would imagine.
But rather than abandoning these people, we must do our best to give them the best possible chance at recovery.
I disagree, man. Death penalty or nothing. Like, there's no coming back from making a video this terrible. I do not think this dude can be redeemed.
And reform, with the hopes of eventually re-entering society. In situations where re-entry does seem possible, care must be taken to monitor and assist these reformed individuals to preempt relapse or deception, and to ensure that the patient successfully merges back into wider society. Reactionaries and counter-revolutionaries would be treated in a very similar manner. How we deal with former capitalists, fascists, and other such oppressors will be one of the great tests of anarchist society. Great care must be taken to treat them compassionately and humanely, giving them every opportunity to join our society as active and productive comrades, starting by treating them like any other comrade with special circumstances. Rather than ship deposed class enemies off to inhumane gulags or otherwise seek out revenge, they should be placed in reform centers where they are able to live in comfort and benefit from counseling and education, teaching them about the benefits of our new society. Some may never be willing to give up their abuses. And
what if they refuse to live in these prisons? Can they leave? Can they exit? So you're telling me someone is going to prison because they denied, I don't know, the Holocaust hoax or some other bullshit that's not true. Like, they're in prison because they disagree with, like, the same politics that you hold. Like, dude, you are off your fucking rocker. You are bad shit fucking crazy. Like, you would have a much higher prison population than what even currently exists in the world. Like, over 95% of everyone globally disagrees with you on most things. And over 99% of people worldwide disagree with you on at least some things, dude. Absolutely goddamn horrific.
These die-hard oppressors would need to be secluded, perhaps indefinitely. But capitalists and reaction...
Yep, so that's a prison. Abolish prisons, but no, we'll keep you in captivity and never let you leave a secluded area, an enclosed space for the rest of your life because you don't believe in the same thing as me. This is literally like, again, this is what I mean. Like, this sounds like a parody, right? Like, the joke that's like mocking people who call themselves anarchists, like, you do believe in rulers, just under a different name. Like, this is like 2 in a row, back to back, in the span of a few minutes. This guy's like, I don't believe in police, but I believe in them. Just change the name. I don't believe in prisons, but also we're going to increase the prison population. Life imprisonment is certainly a common phenomenon in my ideal society. And, most of the human population are going to have to spend most of the time in prison. At least if that's the implication of what this dude is talking about. But, yeah, 100% imprisonment. This is depraved.
Who demonstrate a willingness to re-enter society on equal footing should be given every opportunity to learn, grow, and eventually rejoin our community in peace. Chapter 9, the military.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Would be a volunteer force that is funded collectively by networks of communists.
Volunteer force. People are volunteering. Like, the United States now, since it hasn't had subscription in a long time. I mean, subscription. What the fuck? You could just like get a fucking subscription to the military. Like, people get a subscription to an electricity company or like fucking Netflix or some shit. Well, I guess that's anarcho-capitalism, right? That's something different. That's not anarchism either. So, yeah, irrelevant.
Every individual will be given the opportunity to volunteer in the security forces.
No shit. That's our society. That's America today, motherfucker. We don't have conscription anymore. People can join. Holy fucking Christ.
But no individual will ever be drafted or
yeah, that's most countries in the world.
Compelled to serve in such capacity. The military will be adequately supplied by communes with equipment, supplies, and personnel via...
And now you gotta pay taxes too. Who's gonna enforce the taxes? The anarchist police. The anarcho-police. They're just knocking on your door like, motherfucker, you haven't paid your goddamn taxes. Listen, I'm gonna shoot in the goddamn head, and then in the dick after I shoot you in the head, because, you know, we have guns here. What? There's no one to stop us, right? We're gonna kill you. We're gonna kill your fucking wife or your husband or your non-binary spouse. We're just gonna kill them right in front of you. We're gonna cut their head off with a fucking machete. We're gonna kill your fucking kids with a fucking hammer below to the head. We're gonna do all that shit. If you don't pay your fucking taxes, you little bitch. Oh my fucking God. What if someone refuses to pay for the fucking to finance the military? How else is it financed if not by taxes? What about virtually every person in the world who would not voluntarily give money to the military? Hence why they don't in our society. Hence why they don't. Only a few, like, billionaires or whatever give, like, private donations to the fucking military. Like, holy shit. Who do you know who is given money out of their own volition to the U.S. military or any military? You are fucking crazy.
A joint contract.
Like, I can't get over, like, how, like, this dude is saying this stuff with a straight face. Unironically. This may just be in the top 10 worst videos I've ever seen in my whole life. I've seen tens of thousands of YouTube videos. Dozens of thousands. I've seen so fucking many. I wouldn't even know. Maybe even 100,000. I have no idea how many. I have no clue. I wouldn't even know how to... I never really thought about it till now. Well, I have a little bit, but only a little bit. Like, I wouldn't even know how you add it up. And yet this has to be in the top 10. Or at least the top 20. Like, easily, you know. The most generous I could ever say about this video is that it's the 20th worst video I've ever seen in my life on YouTube or any platform, any website. That's the most... But that's way too generous. I think somewhere in the top 10. This is absolutely horrendous.
Commune making direct or indirect contributions to civil defense. In the military, some hierarchy will be required to ensure...
No hierarchy, but, you know, some hierarchies. Oh my fucking God. Guys, listen, I'm an anarchist. You know what anarchism means? It means no rulers. Now, yeah, some rulers, you know, we gotta have them, but no rulers. You know, he's got like a big sign, just, you know, at a protest that says "No gods, no masters." You know, except for maybe like, you know, Greek mythology and BDSM masters and, you know, police and prison guards and, you know, this and that. Jesus fucking, like, dude, this is, like, how was anyone like, yeah, I'm an anarchist, yeah. All these power structures, all this hierarchy, all these rulers, all this government. Oh, my God.
That the military is properly organized, but the hierarchy will be aligned with anarchical principles.
What?
Officers will be chosen democratically by their unions.
What the fuck? What?
Commands will be rotated often to prevent.
Just like presidents, right? You know, we vote them in, vote them out every 4 to 8 years, right? They're not really a ruler. We're not really oppressive, right? Totally. Donald Trump, greatest. Well, actually, I guess he's not an anarchist because he wants to be a dictator. He wants more than 8 years. But most U.S. presidents, total fucking anarchists. Only ruling people for 4 to 8 years. Oh my God.
Any one individual from accumulating too much power and influence. Unlike most
but some power is fine.
capitalist state military forces,
I guess we just need a socialist state military force.
officers in our military would not have the power to abuse or exploit those.
Oh my God. And why is there officers? That's not even... You have rulers within a rulership. You have a hierarchy within a hierarchy. You not only do you have a military, but you have chiefs within the military. So it's literally, you literally just believe that, like, okay, I'm against all rulers, all hierarchy, unless they're justified, of course. Like Hitler, by that standard, by that terrible bullshit standard, right? Hitler could be an anarchist. Because he didn't believe in anything that he believed was unjust. Like, okay, if I believe in something, that means I don't believe it's unjust. If I believe that, like, the genocide of an entire fucking race of people, if I'm Benjamin Netanyahu, and I'm committing the fucking racial holocaust, I'm dropping bombs on indigenous Palestinians and their families and killing hundreds of thousands of innocent people, and I'm a ruler, I'm literally the fucking president, ruler, manager, governor, fucking the head of Israel, I could literally say I'm an anarchist because I believe it's just. It's a justified hierarchy. The military, all the ranks within it, it's all fine. Tanks that kill so many people, it's all fine. Just drop the nukes, drop the bombs. If I literally were to own a slave, like abduct a random person and force them never to leave, like a secluded area, like a plantation, or a full-blown prison, even though a plantation pretty much is a full-blown prison. Like, you can't leave it, right? That's what slavery's about. And I own a slave. If I believe that, like, it's justified because, I don't know, some obscure religion says it's okay, or, I don't know, well, I guess Christianity isn't an obscure religion, but the point is, like, if I say some crazy shit like that, if I believe it's justified, therefore, I'm an anarchist, because it's a justified hierarchy. The slave-master dynamic? Justified. Like, that is how fucking insane this guy is. Like, this is how insane that anarchism is against unjustified hierarchy. Okay, Hitler was an anarchist, because every hierarchy he believed in, he believed was justified. And if he didn't believe it was justified, that means he didn't believe it in the first place. So I guess Nazi ideology, I guess every ideology in the world, by the inherent definition of what it even means to believe in something, by that inherent nature, is anarchist. Everyone is an anarchist. I believe in less rulers than Emmanuel Johnson, and I don't call myself an anarchist. I believe in less rulers, the less hierarchy, less totalitarianism, no totalitarianism actually, than what this fucking shit is. This is, oh my God.
That they outrank. On the contrary, they would be directly accountable to their subordinates and
subordinates. Okay, you know what? I'm actually out of laughter, and I'm just gonna end the fucking video here. I can't do this anymore. This is too much, man.